speaking of hot under the collar, let's check in with the weather.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, that's a little bit depressing. I'm depressed right now, but fantastic start to the show, and I'm really excited about being a weatherman. Look, Mom, I've made it. I'm the weather guy. Dream come true. But let's jump into it because I'm seeing a merger getting a really chilly reaction. For those of you that don't know, 2 weeks ago, Monster and Career Builder joined force. I'm like, for a lot of people, I'm like, who? What? But the thing is, if this was 2008, this would be like headline news. Unfortunately for them, it's 2024. No one really cares at all. But we have boomers and Gen X listening, watching this, and I'm sure they remember this is where they went to look for jobs. Basically, those two sites were the bomb. It's where you went to look for a job, and they were a big deal because if you think about it, during that era of 2000 to 2012, they were not only the job boards you went to, they were like the tech darlings of the early .com era. Crazy to think that, like, Monster was an company, and they also had Super Bowl. What happened? Well, the weather changed. LinkedIn came on scene and basically as a job board disguise as a social media site, then Indeed was the Google for jobs before Google for jobs. So what's next? Couple of things. So what I think we'll see is probably there's a couple of options. So what we could see is Monster Builder or Career Monster? Probably not. They might run the sites separately, or here is my prediction of the weather here. I think they're going to merge the sites and leverage the name jobs.com, which, by the way, Monster owns. I do see that. But either way we look at it, I think we all think that job boards are dead. The reality is job seekers still go to job boards and still see it as their number one source to look for jobs and apply for jobs. So until that changes, job boards are going to be around for a long time. But the other take is we might see mergers like this coming up in the near future. It won't take 20 years to see something like a merger from, say, Indeed and LinkedIn merging together. I don't know what you guys think about it, but before we go back, yeah, Indeed and LinkedIn, I don't know what we would call it. So, Lindeed, I like it. Triple Indeed. I like that. Career Monster, Monster Builder. There's a lot of different names that could be named, but I don't know if any of you remember the Super Bowl commercial. Let's jump into it. I really want to see this. I don't remember it.
When I grow up, I want to file all day.
I want to claw my way up to middle management. Be replaced on a whim. I want to have a brown nose.
I want to be a yes man.
Yes, woman.
Yes, sir. Coming, sir.
Anything for a raise, sir.
When I grow up,
I want to be underappreciated.
be paid less for doing the same job. I want sunshine blowing up my dress.
That's
Wow.
a pretty cool commercial.
That's a great commercial, except it happened. And so
Yeah.
those kids all now have what they wanted. They're underappreciated and laid off.
Underappreciated. That was a good one.
So does anyone care about this merger?
Look,
No.
I will say this. If you combine both of their user bases, it's about 45 million. All right.
Yeah.
So I've looked it up, 20 million for
Wow.
Career Builder, 25 million for Monster. Dude, LinkedIn has 310 million active users. Indeed's got 250. So it's like combining two nothings to create nothing. And I want to know who those monthly users are.
Right. I mean, it's a different type of job, though, right? Like we are so native to LinkedIn too that we forget that there's a whole other population out there that use many different job boards, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I see those ZipRecruiter commercials or the Indeed commercials, I kind of blow them off because that's not the world I recruit for. But there's a lot of people in a lot of different jobs, a lot of different industries that use other platforms. Joel,
Look,
Yeah.
I will say I have not.
you're a LinkedIn snob. That's your
I
problem.
have not seen. I mean, I've used Career Builder before. I used it about 5 years ago, and I did not see any updated resumes. And the strategy was find a resume that was 10 years old, call that person, and if the contact information was up to date, say, "Hey, I've got your resume. I found it on Career Builder," but there was zero updated. So, Danielle, what do you have?
Well, to Adam's point, like my parents own we have a family business. It's indoor electric go-karting, which by the way,
What?
you
Sick.
gotta go.
What? Wait,
Oh,
wait,
Yeah.
that's
wait,
pretty
wait.
cool.
Why, we haven't gotten the discount yet to take the kids up there?
Well, Adam, you didn't ask me.
I mean, that's the thing. Hey, Danielle, by the way, I'm just curious. By chance, your parents have an indoor electric go-kart on the East Coast where I can take my kids to?
Yeah, it's called RPM Raceway.
Raceway Park.
It's really fun. The average age is actually 34, and you have to be 48 inches to ride a cart. Anyway,
Joel's
I've
guns are 48
done
inches. Joel's arms could ride by themselves.
Perfect.
Swole algae.
true. Yeah, so I did some recruiting work for them back in the day, and they were using Monster. So, a lot of those like hourly jobs, like part-time positions, like a lot of those are really posted on Monster and other sites like it. So I really appreciate Adam's point of that.
Absolutely.
I will say that Super Bowl commercial was really creepy and it felt like the result of decades of corporate BS.
Where does it land on the cringe scale, Danielle?
Like, I don't want to see it.
It's off the cringe scale.
It's off. Everything we're showing today is just off the cringe scale.
Serge, what's the long-term forecast for the rest of the summer, man?
The long-term forecast. Well, I want to ask you, what's the forecast for job boards? I think job boards are going to be around for a long time, but I want to get your thoughts around it. Are job boards going out, or are they
No.
here forever?
No, they're here. I started my own job board, pulling in some affiliate jobs using Draftboard, which is another pretty cool platform out there.
Yep.
And my audience loves it because I'm continuing to provide value as a recruiter, where I have my jobs that I'm working on, but I get so much inbound. Joel could attest this. Hey, Adam, I'm doing this. Could you help me there? Now I have a destination where I could send people to where I curate jobs and they could apply directly and they could go for it. So as a recruiter, I'm trying to find ways to add value, be a super connector, be a conduit, and always trying to, say, hey guys, I may not have something for you, but check these out.
Well, do you think job boards are going to become just more niche and more
I
targeted?
Definitely.
I think they got to add value in other ways, and this is something which I don't think it could just be, hey, here's a job. I think you gotta hook people in nowadays with content that's going to provide value. Hey, here's some interview tips. Here's
Mhm.
some AI tools.
Mm.
Because I think now job seekers they're expecting value. They're expecting quicker service. So regardless of whether you're using a job board or not, companies have got to be on this. Like candidate experience right now, it needs to be high, and I think a lot of companies are going. It's a lot of people applying. We don't need to work as hard as moving people through the process quickly. But I think that's going to be a huge focus. And so if using a job board is the way to go, great. But I think if you're a job board, you got to think of other ways besides just jobs to add value and make it easier for job seekers.
Agreed. And I would also add that community has seen a huge uptick in terms of just being a conduit for people getting jobs, right? Like communities are delivering on some of the things that Joel mentioned. And I think that, when you have, how many Slack communities are you in? Like, drop it in
Too
the
many.
chat. How many Slack
many.
communities are you in, right? Like, a lot. And sometimes, if people are job searching, you're just like going in those Slack communities and just looking under hashtag jobs and you're just applying and then you're reaching out to people and it's not always going to be on a job board. They're going to just post, a lot of the time right from the website. So I think to that end, some of those websites are going to become a little bit, I don't know, less used.
Well, what's the forecast for Indeed, which I would say is the biggest job board out there right now? Are we feeling that it's got a long runway, or is it going to have a similar fate that Monster and Career Builder had?
All I could speak from is some of the videos I've done recently where I bash Indeed. So for example, a hook I might use is, are you tired of using Indeed and LinkedIn? I'll band them both together.
Yeah.
a lot of frustration out there for people. Like those videos always go viral because people are sick of fake jobs, scams, like applying and never hearing back. And I think that's a massive issue for a job board like Indeed. It's like if you're gonna have jobs, make sure they're quality jobs that
Yeah.
actually lead to somebody getting a job.
Yeah. It erodes trust too.
Yeah. Well, awesome, Serge. We want to thank you so much for this weather. This is going to be an update because the weather's always here, but it changes. Serge, thank you so much.
The recruitment flex.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Danielle, back over to you.